All right, man, peace. So this will be part two in the series on the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James's mutual decision to detonate the current team situation that they had and remove a majority of the more troublesome players on the Cleveland Cavaliers roster. Now we're going to hear what Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe have to say about the situation. They're going to talk about it, and of course I'm going to chime in.
But we have to start with the Cavs. They were very busy yesterday before the trade deadline. 6 players are gone, including
LeBron going through roid rage. Allegedly.
Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, Jay Crowder, Iman Shumpert, and most notably, Isaiah Thomas. His Cavs career lasted a grand total of 15 games. The new Cavs include Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr., Rodney Hood, and George Hill. Let's take a listen to GM Kobe Altman on yesterday's moves.
We wanted to be patient, and we wanted to see this thing work out, but we were really worried that what was going on the floor and sort of our culture in the building, that we were marching a slow death, and we didn't want to be a part of that. You know, obviously we want LeBron to be here long term. I know that, you know, he's committed to this team. He'll be committed to these new players. I know for a fact that he's excited about each addition.
Now pay attention to what Mr. Kobe Altman said. He stated that they were trying to be patient and let the team situation play itself out, but they were heading towards a slow death, basically because the culture of the team was disintegrating rapidly because of the great amount of toxicity in the locker room. In other words, what? He understood that the trade had to be made because LeBron James was going to continue to not give his all on the floor, despite what he was stating after the game. He was going to continue to not give his all on the floor until the upper management of the Cleveland Cavaliers acquiesced. I also believe, once again, that Adam Silver got involved and most likely contacted Dan Gilbert and let him know that no, you're not going to continue to have this silent protest against the most marquee player in the NBA. You're going to assist him. You're going to give him the best chance to win. Even if he doesn't win, this is entertainment, and we cannot have our best player not giving his best effort because he's depressed, that you're basically trying to starve him out. So Dan Gilbert, you will make that trade, and you will move Isaiah Thomas and whoever else is giving LeBron a problem, so that he can give his best effort and we can make our most money and maximize our earning potential. I believe that either Adam Silver or one of his associates contacted Mr. Dan Gilbert and let him know that you will pull the trigger on some trades, plural. Now, they were considering possibly trading for DeAndre Jordan, but I believe that it was just a little bit too much. And after they pulled off the initial trade, it wasn't necessary for them to also get rid of the number 1 pick that they have, because I think that they understand that there is a very high probability that LeBron is going to leave anyway.
So, Shannon, how much better are the Cavs?
Eastern Conference favorites. Again.
Yeah.
Again. Yes. And you know it, too.
You know it, Skip Bayless. You know it. Skip, I had the best sleep I've had in years last night.
I do know it.
Exactly.
I agree.
Okay.
I want you to keep going. I want you to lay it on thick.
Oh, I'm going to lay it on you. You better believe it. Like I said, I slept like a baby last night, you know. Usually I'm all stuffed in the bed because I got LeBron and Savannah, you know, on either side of me. I can't ever get good sleep. But Skip, I slept like a newborn baby giraffe last night. I couldn't believe it. I woke up this morning, I said, ding dong, the midget is gone. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy.
Skip, you know this. They're more athletic. They're hungrier. They have guys that are going to be in roles that they've always been in and they've embraced. They don't have guys trying to play for contracts, trying to play up more than what they are.
Well, Jordan Clarkson will be playing for a contract, but I believe that he's going to know his place. He better. Because he is expendable. There's no doubt about that. But he'll be playing for a contract. And, you know, sometimes with people, they think that just because something is new, that it's going to be better. When you look at Jordan Clarkson and Hill and Hood and Nance Jr., they have very little experience in pressurized situations. But what this does is not only does it give LeBron a fresh start with young players who have zest and zeal, but it also gives him an out. He'll be able to say, well, we have a bunch of young guys here. That's why we went out in the second round this year. I had a great run with this team, blah, blah, blah.
D Rose was always trying to prove, I might not be that MVP D Rose, but I'm close.
Yep.
I don't think D Rose was trying to prove that. I think D Rose has just been trying to collect a check, collect as many checks as he can to keep his lavish lifestyle going. He's going to have issues after he leaves the NBA or after the NBA is done with him. Don't be surprised to see him end up as the next Stephon Marbury heading over to China, playing until he's 45. Because he comes off as the type who does not really know where his money is going.
Isaiah Thomas is trying to play for that Brinks truck that's never going to arrive now.
Yeah, that's done. Isaiah Thomas, he can forget about that big, that lucrative deal, that max contract. That certainly is not coming for him. Nor does he deserve it. He didn't deserve it when he was healthy, to be quite frank with you. Danny Ainge was never going to give him that max contract, and that's why he's hurt to this day. Because I believe that he believes that he was going to get the max contract, and Danny Ainge may have even told him so. But Danny Ainge never had any real intention of giving Isaiah Thomas the max contract. Isaiah Thomas was never plan A. I believe that if it wasn't Kyrie, they were going to try to swing a major deal for another top-notch point guard. Who knows? They may have even tried to contact Michael Jordan to trade Kemba Walker for Isaiah Thomas had the Kyrie deal not worked. Who knows? But I certainly do not believe that the Boston Celtics plan A was to have Isaiah Thomas come back for another season and then max out on a contract for him.
Now, Skip, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And it just didn't work. Jay Crowder, for whatever reason, it just didn't work.
Well, according to Jay Crowder, LeBron James is playing purely for statistics. That's according to Jay Crowder.
And you hear Kobe Altman talking about on the court, but it was more of that culture in the locker room.
Yep.
Because somehow Isaiah Thomas arrived and he felt that, I'm on equal footing with LeBron. I'm going to call team meetings. I'm going to talk to the guys.
Yeah, Skip, I couldn't understand it. That little man talking about he's on equal footing with my man, LeBron. How could you be on equal footing when you 2 foot short of my man?
And they're like, hold up, bruh. You just got here. And you calling team meetings and you're not even healthy. They needed to get that out. And it also showed LeBron, we're not standing pat. Okay, you didn't make a commitment to us.
Yeah.
But we're making a commitment to you this year, trying to show you that we go get you a Rodney Hood. You like shooters. We went and got you a Rodney Hood. We got you a George Hill.
Yep.
We got Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. We got guys that played their role, embraced their roles. You do what you do. If you remember, Skip, when they got down to Indiana.
I agree partially with what Shannon is saying, but that's more on the exterior. On the level beneath that, that's the Cleveland Cavaliers trying to appease both LeBron and the league office, in my view. As well as Isaiah Thomas, because as I've already stated, I believe that Isaiah Thomas wanted out. I think that's why he developed a relationship with Dan Gilbert. I believe that Dan Gilbert sympathized with the Isaiah Thomas story, how Isaiah most likely told him that he was promised a max contract by Danny Ainge and that he did not fulfill that quote-unquote obligation. Dan Gilbert most likely felt that Isaiah Thomas ended up being collateral damage in the soap opera that is LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. And I think that Dan Gilbert felt a little sorry for Isaiah Thomas and said, you know what? You're never going to be able to show what you can do in this environment right here because this is the LeBron James show. So here's what you can do. You can act as a go-between between me and him in regards to relaying information that you hear from him about me back to me, and I'll see what I could do for you down the line. I do believe that Isaiah Thomas was acting as a provocateur, an agent of chaos within the Cleveland locker room, and that he was taking certain things that he may have overheard LeBron James or other members of the team saying and taking it back to Dan Gilbert. That would explain why the other members of the team, other than Jay Crowder, shut him out. That would explain why when LeBron James hit the game-winning shot against the Minnesota Timberwolves, that he totally avoided and ignored Isaiah Thomas. LeBron is excellent at playing the magnanimous teammate in interviews during the post-game press conference or right after the game. But you can tell that there is certainly another face that he shows people when there are no cameras around or when he thinks that there are no cameras around. So once again, I believe that the trade worked out for all parties involved. It also, once again, reinvigorates, rejuvenates the team. It reinvigorates LeBron James. It gives him an incentive to play hard for the remainder of the season with optimism that he has no baggage with these incoming teammates. And it gives LeBron another mission that he can use to glorify himself. Look at what I'm going to do with this ragtag group of guys. Imagine if LeBron James takes these guys to the finals, even if they lose in 4 or 5 games. All of his most ardent acolytes, Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, Max Kellerman, will all run to the highest, nearest mountaintop to yell out how LeBron James is the greatest player ever. Because look at what he was able to do. He was able to take guys who hardly had any playoff experience to the finals. Wow.
It was LeBron and those shooters. They got back in the game and ended up winning. When they got down to Toronto, it was LeBron and those shooters. So they got shooters. And that's what LeBron, ooh, can you see him come down the court? Take this right in the hood. Oh, Kyle Korver, you over there? Ooh, yeah.
Absolutely. The LeBron James system in full effect.
Take that. And then, he going to throw it up, because, he got another Akron boy in the building. Larry Nance Jr., his daddy won a dunk contest.
Do I?
83. Mm-hmm. Woo! Ooh, we cook a scam with it.
Wow.
Yeah. Cook it with grease.
Also, because this shows LeBron, we trying to make moves. We tried to give him Tristan. We tried to give him JR and our pick for DeAndre. So.
Allegedly. I mean, I believe that they did, but you never know. Dan Gilbert might just say, you know what, let's leak a story out there that we tried to trade these guys for DeAndre. Oftentimes, trades that don't happen are because one or both parties, but normally one party, doesn't really want it to happen. They just want to act like they wanted it to happen. It's kind of like when two fighters are negotiating for a fight, and one of the fighters purposefully prices himself out because he doesn't want to get in the ring with that other guy. I don't believe that the Cleveland Cavaliers actually wanted to trade Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, and that draft pick for DeAndre Jordan. Really, at the end of the day, what is DeAndre Jordan? He's a 9-point, 15-rebound guy who can get some block shots, who you can't give the ball to late in games.
Dan Gilbert is showing LeBron that, look, I should have listened. You're right, bro. I should have listened to you and not traded Kyrie. Brought him to camp, and you said you could work with him. You never lied to me before.
Yep.
You could have worked with it.
That's the new narrative that many of the LeBron James superfans in the liberal mass media are running with. That LeBron did not want Kyrie traded. That's bullshit. If he truly did not want Kyrie traded, then he would have signed a long-term contract. And he would never have advocated for them to trade for Chris Paul for Kyrie first, and then been okay with the possible Paul George and Eric Bledsoe trade for Kyrie. But LeBron has a series of plants in the media. LeBron James has more propaganda pushers in the media than Adolf Hitler. It's unbelievable. All of a sudden, LeBron never wanted Kyrie to leave. It seems like everyone knows that LeBron had no problem with Kyrie leaving as long as he got a great player back or a player who he felt like was going to fit into the LeBron James system. The only people who don't realize it are people like Shannon Sharpe, who will believe anything positive that is put out and proliferated by the LeBron James camp, as long as it assists him in promoting this fallacy that LeBron is above reproach.
And if we did trade Kyrie, we should have left a 5'9" injured guy. We should have left that alone. That's absolutely for certain.
Well, the reason why they took the trade was because, once again, Boston had the most assets to offer. And that's what they were looking for. They were looking for draft picks.
So I'm glad they shook it up.
Yep.
Normally we don't see this type of shake-up, Skip, but they were going nowhere. And then you heard Kobe Altman say we were marching a slow death.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go down that path.
Well, Shannon, they still not going anywhere, brother. But what it does is it makes it exciting for the stretch run. And that's what the NBA is about. It's about entertainment. It's about making people like you think and feel that your favorite team and your favorite player have a chance. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Skip, I woke up this morning and my waves came back in my hair. I just felt splendid. My skin was glowing. I even cooked breakfast for Braun and Savannah. I said, yeah, that little nigga gone. I love it. Is he still in the city? Let me fly him to the airport. Let me drive his ass to the airport so he can fly out on time. You know, I mean, shit, I said fly out. No, I'll even fly his ass. I'll be the pilot. I just make sure I have a parachute. Might make the damn plane crash.
Love it. I love LA. I love it.
So you're going to be back in Cleveland for another parade?
No, Skip, no. Just go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, go ahead, Skip, with your old wrinkled ass. I know you still mad. Look red as hell. Red on top, black on the bottom. I hate you.
But we gonna be all right over here.
I got a whole lot of points. So, I told you 2 days ago, sitting right here in this seat, in all my years of covering the National Basketball Association, dating back to my days in LA back in the 70s covering the Lakers of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, no Magic yet, I had never seen anything like the disaster that LeBron James' team had turned into after winning 18 of 19 games, and LeBron was a leading MVP candidate, and then this happened. And it didn't just go for 4 or 5 games, it went from Christmas till now.
Yes, because that's the time period that LeBron James quickly saw that that team was going nowhere, and he decided to very much incrementally start to sabotage his own team's chances to win during the regular season so that he could highlight the fact that they needed to make a major trade and shake the team up. And that's why he wasn't sorry when D. Wade was dispatched. He looked at D. Wade and he thought to himself the same thing that he thought back in 2014. It's almost like when you try to get back with a chick that you already know is not meant to work out with. And you back with, he said, why am I back with this broad for? I knew she was crazy before. It's the same thing with LeBron. LeBron left D. Wade in 2014 for a reason. He saw D. Wade was not the same player. He brought D. Wade back, or he allowed them to bring D. Wade back to try to reinvigorate some type of energy that they had back in the Miami Heat days, and also to act as an in-house psychiatrist for LeBron. And it didn't work. So believe me, despite what LeBron states, he knew that D. Wade was traded. Even D. Wade stated when he came to the practice facility and told LeBron that he'd been traded, and LeBron acted like he didn't know. He told him, stop playing. Because even D. Wade knows that they don't make the type of moves unless LeBron James is aware of what's going on. Once again, he knew that Isaiah Thomas was going to be traded the next day. That's why he did not acknowledge Isaiah Thomas when he hit the game-winning shot.
Right. 19 games worth of complete abject disaster where I saw game after game where they could not compete. They were getting blown off the floor.
Yes, because LeBron was purposefully missing defensive assignments.
By the Thunder and the T-Wolves and
Toronto.
It's just one game after another. Embarrassments. And the embarrassment 2 nights ago at Orlando, I just never seen anything like that before. Where you're up by whatever it was,
21,
and then you blow it.
20.
That's impossible. LeBron James is on your team. And yet, it took LeBron at his greatest in overtime 2 nights ago.
Yes, and there was a discernible difference in the effort and focus that LeBron, that he displayed in that game, which was very much disparate from what he had shown in the 20 previous games to that.
To save them against the T-Wolves, albeit giving up outrageous number of points again, and they continue to be the worst defensive team in pro basketball. So, LeBron hit a walk-off shot 2 nights ago, followed by Dan Gilbert hitting a walk-off shot at the buzzer yesterday at the trade deadline. Am I right? Yeah. I think Dan Gilbert just won Executive of the Year in about an hour.
I think you're going a little bit too far. I think that Dan Gilbert was able to pull the trigger on a trade that he had to make, which probably had been sitting on the table for a while, and that he looked at and said, are we really getting back maximum value for these players, at least in regards to name recognition? You're trading in Isaiah Thomas and Derrick Rose and all these players, and you're getting back Rodney Hood and Larry Nance Jr., I'm sure that deal had been on his table for a while. But I believe that what caused him to pull the trigger was a call from the league office to let him know, you're not going to stand pat. You're not going to sit down on this. We're not going to allow our top asset, LeBron James, to just go quietly into that good night. No, sir.
Seriously, and don't give me Kobe Altman. I know he's the out front spokesman because it would look bad if Dan Gilbert went total Jerry Jones and actually conducted the press conference. But it's clear Dan Gilbert is running the basketball operation.
I agree. That's why I stated that he most likely has some type of a conference call with Adam Silver or one of Adam Silver's representatives. And that is who pushed him to greenlight this trade. Because for these players, it wasn't even like he got anything major back. That had to have been on his table for a while.
And it is clear that he worked some magic, multiple team magic. The more, as the news broke, I couldn't even process. It took me like 4 hours through the afternoon just to get it all in my head.
Because they kept coming.
Yeah, and how do you pull all that off? Because
easy, when the commissioner is working in concert with you. Once again, the NBA is an entertainment league. If you think for a moment that they're going to allow LeBron James to have a mental breakdown to where he feels like he cannot even give 100% to a team because there are members of that team that are purposefully trying to bring negative energy towards him, LeBron does not deal well with negative energy. He just doesn't. He has to be the center of attention, and everyone has to be the recipient of the energy that he is emitting. He cannot take anyone in the locker room who dares to think that they are anything more than subjects to him. That is why he calls himself King James. He has the mindset of a king. He does not like anyone questioning his authority. So all that plays into why Dan Gilbert was able to pull off these bevy of trades. He had assistance, but those trades had been on his desk for a while. But he was pushed to greenlight those trades. And I'm sure that Adam Silver contacted those other teams and let them know, look, this is what's best for everybody involved. The Lakers, the Jazz, Cleveland, LeBron, the league.
You managed in just like the 11th hour to flip what was obviously a sorry mess back into, dare I say, a pretty good team.
Yes.
And I'm with you. This is definitely now the Eastern Conference favorite.
They're the Eastern Conference favorite because they have LeBron, not because of those players that they have. I think that these players, it's going to take them a while to become amalgamated, to learn the LeBron James system, what will be expected of them. But they do look pretty good. Do I think that makes them a good team? I'm not sure. We'll see.
And here's the punchline to me. Dan Gilbert pulled all this off and still held on to the Brooklyn first-round pick. How do you do that?
Easy, because he never really wanted to get DeAndre Jordan. After a while, he looked at DeAndre Jordan and said, why bring in this guy who's, how old is DeAndre? 28, 29 years old. He's as good as he's going to be. He's a 9.15 rebound a year guy. Are you going to build your team around DeAndre Jordan if LeBron James leaves? Dan Gilbert understands that most of these players that he's bringing in are relatively young, other than George Hill, who you can always package in a trade, most likely for a second-round pick at the end of the season if LeBron leaves. If he stays, LeBron I'm talking about, then possibly you could sign a big-time free agent or package a couple of these players in a trade for a big-time player, maybe with that draft pick.
He pulled that off, and he held on to the players who allowed them to set the NBA regular season record, maybe the playoff record, this is a single game record for combined threes with the Timberwolves, yep. Because who made the threes in that game? LeBron, so he's still there. And Fourth Corver, he's still there. Yep. And JR is still there. Yep. They didn't give up JR. They didn't give up Tristan. I still think Tristan has a lot of value. I know you had.
They tried to give him up.
Okay, but they still have him, and he is a useful player. Okay. When he decides,
he's not useful anymore. Skip Bayless. Tristan Thompson is stuck in the Kardashian rabbit hole. He's finished. He's basically just a vessel now. His spirit is gone. He's a part of that witch coven.
He can do it. He is high energy. I know he's been inconsistent energy.
Yes.
He's got some off the court issues.
No, he really hasn't been inconsistent. He's been consistent. He's been consistently bad. He's been terrible ever since he initiated that relationship with Khloe Kardashian.
Issues going on, whatever. I would be glad if I'm LeBron that he's still on my side this morning. So you kept all of the above.
Well, if I was LeBron, I would be relatively glad that he's still there. Why? Because you hope that the remaining vestiges of Tristan Thompson will be good enough to give you one game in the playoffs of 16, 17 rebounds and scrappy play.
And the second punchline to this is you managed to get rid of your double bust from the Kyrie trade. You got rid of Isaiah Thomas and you got rid of Jay Crowder, and you were about as down on Jay Crowder as you were on Isaiah Thomas.
He had to go.
Of course. Jay Crowder and Isaiah Thomas came over from the Boston Celtics, who were viewed as the number one rival of the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. Please understand that the Boston Celtics have probably been LeBron James's biggest Eastern Conference rival over the course of the last 10 plus years. Going all the way back to 2008 when they beat him in 7 games, and 2010 when they beat him in 6 games. He had to get over the hump of beating them, which he did in Miami every year that he came up against them. But he understood them as being an Eastern Conference rival. And as we all know, in Boston, they are very emotional. When they have a rival, they hate that rival. And they do despise LeBron James in Boston from a rivalry perspective. And it trickles down to all the incoming generation of players that play for that team. So Jay Crowder and, of course, Isaiah Thomas, once joining that team, they took on the energy of the rivalry. And when they were shipped over to Cleveland, it was almost like being shipped behind enemy lines. They never quite bought into LeBron James. And one can tell that because, according to the reports, they sectioned themselves off from the rest of the team. That's why you'll see that the two most verbose players in speaking ill of LeBron were Jay Crowder and Isaiah Thomas, who once again, I believe, was acting as an informant for Dan Gilbert.
He had to go.
How Dan Gilbert convinced Utah to take Jay Crowder straight up for Rodney Hood? What is that about? It's like...
Joey.
It's not that difficult to figure out, Skip Bayless. Once again, whenever you're trying to discern and decipher exactly how something occurred, once you omit the impossible, whatever is left, however improbable, is the answer. So it's obvious to me that Mr. Adam Silver made a series of calls, or had his assistants make a series of calls to some other teams to either organize these trades or to inform Mr. Dan Gilbert that, yes, you're going to greenlight these trades. We have to do what we need to do to make sure that LeBron James is mentally capable of giving his all for this oncoming playoff run. It doesn't matter if he wins or not, but he does have to be a part of the festivities. This is a show, and he is the leading cast member.
I know. You need a selfie, right? You need a selfie. You need to post that, right?
Even swap ain't no swindle.
Yeah. What are you doing, Utah? Utah was the hottest. I told you 2 days ago. They're the hottest team in the West. I'm into the West.
Yeah, but what does that really mean, Skip? Utah's the hottest team in the West. Like that's like saying he's the tallest midget in the circus. Like, what does that really mean?
West, because I'm a Spurs fan, and they had just crushed my Spurs. And
Rodney Hood cooked them.
He always cooks them. Trust me. And
What did 12 and 14 skip?
Oh, listen, every time my team plays that team, Rodney Hood just goes berserk.
Well, Rodney Hood is one of the top streak shooters in the NBA. He's good for at least one playoff win by himself for Cleveland if LeBron sets him up properly, which I'm sure he will. Once he learns where Rodney likes to shoot from, where his favorite spots are on the floor, Rodney would be good for at least one game of 35 points. 7 of 13 from 3 or 8 of 13 from 3. He's good for one of those.
On them. He can shoot it. Listen,
Every time he hit a 3, Skip on behind singing, I'm so hood.
Yeah, that's right. Right. There you go. So you got Rodney Hood and Jordan Clarkson, and I got to tell you, they can both be, in their own ways, malcontents occasionally. They can both have a little pouty attitudes. They're both, but to your point, they're both used to coming off the bench. That's who they are and what they do. And those two guys can get about as hot as anybody in this league can get in spurts and surges.
Well, the thing with a lot of these incoming guys is not so much what they're going to do offensively. Are they going to improve the defensive metrics of Cleveland? Because that has been their problem. So that should be what people are concentrating on. And none of those players are known for their defense. Hill can D up, but the rest of those guys, they're not known for playing defense on anyone.
Okay? So you've got that. Now, they can go cold, too, but it doesn't matter. If you got both of them, you can mix and match. Your turn, my turn. It gives incredible, explosive scoring power they just didn't have.
Now, you see what Skip Bayless is doing also. Please recognize that Skip Bayless has been LeBron James's #1 troll over the last 15 years. He's building up the case that this trade has drastically improved the chances of the Cleveland Cavaliers, so that in case they do lose, particularly before the finals, he can attack LeBron with a fervor that he has never attacked him before.
Except for LeBron. It had to be LeBron or bust. Now you pulled off those two guys, and you get, listen, Larry Nance Jr., I don't care if anybody's watched the Lakers this year or last year, he is an extremely talented overachiever who does nothing but play hard and play the right way.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how well Larry Nance Jr. can play outside of LA, because he's been stuck behind a lot of those forwards. The Lakers have been, they've basically been 4 deep in forwards between Ingram and Kuzma and Nance and Randall. So now he has the opportunity to possibly participate on a team where he can be highlighted more. So I want to see exactly what he can do.
And does not take himself seriously at all. And he is a highlight dunk waiting to happen. You got that? You didn't have that. And he can play 5. He can play center. Yeah. So you have...
Well, yes, in this NBA, he can play the 5. Because, how many centers is he going to have to worry about actually being able to score in the low block in the East? Embiid? That's about it. You got the kid up there in Detroit, Drummond, but he's not really that advanced in his low post moves. You have Whiteside down in Miami, but he's hurt all the time. Like he can guard the bigs in the East.
You have somebody. Yeah, and again, you didn't get DeAndre Jordan. You didn't get that rim protector per se, but at least you got that guy.
It doesn't matter. DeAndre Jordan's not going to help you. Definitely not against the Golden State Warriors, who take most of their shots from the perimeter. He's most effective against a team that's going to drive the basketball.
And which brings me to my guy from back in the early days of the, if we go back to 10 years ago with the Spurs, George Hill is a solid pro. That's all he is. Low ego, so you didn't bring big egos in like me, myself, and Isaiah.
Yep.
George Hill, solid but unspectacular. He's leading the league in three-point shooting at 45% right now, because in Sacramento he would barely take, he's only going to take the ones that are wide open, but he'll make the wide open.
And he's going to be wide open because LeBron will be driving and kicking it to him.
I got it.
And he's #1 in catch and shoot 3.
He is.
47%. That's better than Clay.
Yeah. Skip, you heard that? I said when he come to catch and shoot, he better than Clay. I think he even better than Steph, too. I got to check my stats again.
That's who he is. So he will fit right in because he knows how to play. There's no stuff to him. There's no this or that. He just plays basketball. There's no extracurricular. He's not going to speak for the team after the game. He's not going to say that he and LeBron are sort of on the same level.
So you mean to tell me George Hill, after he goes 2 for 15 and has a minus 25, you mean to tell me he's not going to say, when adversity hits, we go our separate ways? That's not going to be George.
Well, George Hill is not going to go 2 for 15, #1. If anything, he may go 2 for 5. But he's definitely going to be a great addition to the team, because he can actually guard his position, and he's going to take good shots. So in all seriousness, that is a serious upgrade from Isaiah Thomas.
That's not going to be George.
Oh, interesting. No, I don't think he's going to do that. So that brings me back to our man, LeBron James. LeBron, the ball is now back in your court.
What?
That's what it was all about from the start. That is why Skip Bayless set up his real argument with lavish praise for the incoming members of the Cleveland Cavaliers. All of that was to state, LeBron, if you do not at least get out of the East, I'm going to hammer you.
Dan Gilbert just swatted it right back at you and said, big man, you're on. Your turn, right? Now you're going to have to live up because all of a sudden LeBron goes from poor, pitiful LeBron, he doesn't have enough help, to guess what? He's got plenty of help, at least in the East.
If not help, he'll have plenty of excuses. That's what he'll have. If that team does not play according to the potential and the prognostications, all he's going to say is, well, I'm around a bunch of young guys who don't have enough experience. We're doing our best. I'm going to see what I can do. I've been charged with this task of leading a team of young soldiers who have very little battle experience into a war that they've never fought in before. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to put up a whole bunch of 35, 12, and 12 games. And if we lose, I'm just going to look back and say, maybe next year. We'll see what comes of the off season. That's all. So it's a no lose for LeBron. He has good young talent that he can try to sculpt. And if it works, LeBron looks like a genius. If it doesn't, he can say we had no experience. In Dan Gilbert's case, he could look at LeBron and say we tried. He could look at the fans if LeBron leaves and say we tried. Everybody gets to save face here. There are no losers in this trade.
In fact, you can start to make the case if this team starts to click and gel, and you got to.
It's gonna take us a little while. Let's give us like
Come on, Skip. You gotta give it a little time. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, damn. We do have the greatest player ever played. When I say the greatest player, I'm not talking about basketball. I'm talking about all sports. LeBron James. But still, it's gonna take us a long time. You know, for LeBron's gonna take a good 2-3 games. You know, 2-3 games will be running all cylinders.
We got 3 games, but what? 3 games before the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. Give us about 7 games. Mm. Look here, you ain't even got it. I blindfold LeBron. Mm-hmm. Getting them ingredients.
Yep.
Feel around with it with his hands.
Yeah, he a master chef. You know, I blindfold Bron, Savannah. Excuse me, I almost got freaky. I was talking about basketball. You know, Bron could figure it out. You know, he's a mastermind, a genius. And whatever help he need, me and Savannah be there. You know, in the morning, I train him, make sure he's fit, ready to go. You know, she cooked the meals. We work together, family. That's how I know it's gonna work out. We think positive, Skip. Stop being so damn negative. Damn. That's why you wear black all the damn time.
Yeah, put it in that boiling water. Mm-hmm. That dish coming out good.
Mm-hmm. So, LeBron's got no more excuses. I'm sorry. I'm here to announce, and I'm going to hold your feet to the fire from this moment on. No more excuses for LeBron.
Sunday, we're going to bust up the Celtics.
Okay, that's fine. If you do, no more excuses. If you get busted up, if you get wiped out, no more excuses. No. He went and got you help.
That's all we
In fact, I think he just put a whole lot of pressure, Dan Gilbert, back on you, LeShannon and LeBron.
I agree with that to a degree. I think that he, more than putting pressure on LeBron, I think that he alleviated pressure from himself. Dan Gilbert did. I think that he's in scramble mode because he's trying to figure out how to maximize the winning potential of the team this year, while also trying to figure out a way to keep the team serviceable and viable so that when he sells it, he can sell it for a price that is near what it's worth right now, because he knows that once LeBron leaves, the value of the team is going to drop precipitously. So all these things are going on in Dan Gilbert's mind, in his head. And as a businessman, he's trying to figure out, how can I make sure that I don't lose too much money when the dust settles, when the smoke clears?
Because you're obviously joined at the hip. You got a lot more pressure on you to stay and finish in Cleveland, Ohio now, right?
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody keeps saying, well, he helped Magic clear out cap space to get him and Paul George. I think Dan Gilbert doing what he did showed LeBron that he's willing to spend. He took on $28 million, almost $30 million more money this year alone, saying, hey.
I don't think that Dan Gilbert had to do that to prove to LeBron that he's willing to spend. He's shown that he's been willing to spend since LeBron has been there. They've had the highest salary cap in the NBA for like the last 4 years. So Dan Gilbert does not need to do that to show LeBron that I'm willing to spend. He's proven that time and time again.
We're trying to win this thing. Mm-hmm. We always go to the finals, and we believe we have the one guy with these young, hungry guys. George Hill got his money. He's not trying to play for no contract. Rodney Hood got his money. Jordan Clarkson has his money. So we get guys that play their role, know their roles, and accepting of their roles.
Yep.
They had some guys, Skip, Isaiah cannot. Think about this. I mean, the agent done sent Rachel Nichols a text. Isaiah isn't coming off the bench. Really? That's what just got him up out of Cleveland.
Can you believe that shit, Skip? That's why I'm so happy his little ass is gone. This man's a bigger diva than Beyonce. I can't believe this shit.
I told you, Skip, you got two choices, Isaiah. Come off the bench or come off your couch. He doesn't get it. Now, he thinks that big payday's out there. Lou Williams is having the season of his life.
Yep.
He signed 3 years, $24 million.
He did.
And Skip, I wouldn't even get that to Isaiah Thomas. If it was me, I would pay Isaiah Thomas in fortune cookies. When he crack open that fortune cookie, that's his payment for the season, whatever he get. Say, read that message. That's about all you deserve for your season. Your little ass.
He did.
Lou Williams is 2 years older and 100% more healthy than Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
And Lou Williams is balling. Lou Williams is doing work. Good Lord.
Yep.
But somehow Isaiah Thomas and his agent think he about to get $25 million.
Correct. He is not your problem anymore.
No,
Am I right?
no.
Yeah, you could tell Shannon's traumatized by Isaiah Thomas. He's hurt because he thought that Isaiah Thomas was actually going to be able to do what Kyrie did last year. Once again, many of these LeBron James stupor fans, they thought that the championship level play that Cleveland exhibited in 2016 was owed primarily to the play of LeBron James. If you were to ask the average LeBron James stupor fan, they'd tell you, we give about 80% credit to LeBron and about 15% credit to Kyrie. And then the last 5% you could sprinkle out amongst the rest of the team. Now they've been forced to acknowledge how much of an impact Kyrie Irving has had on their success over the previous 3 seasons. And it's kind of damaging to their psyche.
Am I
You
right?
won't hear me mention his name again. Hey, as a matter of fact, the only Isaiah I'm going to mention is the book of the Bible. Hey, but use your name, Isaiah. I ain't
The
seen
prophet.
it.
The prophet.
Yeah, I ain't seen it.
Yeah, there's only
Oh,
one.
the big Isaiah. The big Isaiah talking about me and him. Cool.
Okay,
But the
all right.
little one
Yeah.
was nothing but problem for me, Joy.
So, you managed, LeBron and LeShannon,
Yep.
to get rid of Isaiah J. Crowder, Derrick Rose. You got somebody to take Derrick Rose off your hand. What are people thinking? And Shump. Shump's out. Shump went to sack. So, way to go.
I mean, but Skip, what was we going to do? The man would have, Joy, the man said, I need to reevaluate myself. I'm going, get my mind clear. Dreads and a wife when he show back up. How you do that? I ain't going to still hurt.
I guess he's talking about Derrick Rose. Shannon needs to leave these people alone. They're gone now. Now the onus in the spotlight is going to be on his man, LeBron James. That's what he needs to focus on. Because when LeBron does not win the championship this year, it's going to be another wasted season.
But he married and got dreads. So that's somebody else's problem. Like you said, somebody else's problem. Jay Crowder, Skippy Dick. The only thing I hate, I like Channing Frye. And I'm going to miss D. Wade. But D. Wade's minutes were about to be reduced.
And beyond that, Skip, Channing Frye, I like him. He was funny. Nice to have a little comical nigga on the team. I go in the locker room after the game, go congratulate Bron, and this nigga in there cracking jokes. I said, okay, that's your role. Good. Just joke around, because you damn sure ain't doing nothing else. But D. Wade had to go with his old ass. He taking attention away from me and Savannah. LeBron all joking around with him like they two niggas still in high school. I told Bron, you got a family at home. You mess around with this old nigga for? Him and his scraggly looking wife, Gabby. Damn bitch, vagina got more mileage than a damn 4x4.
You owe D. Wade that, bro. Hey, look here, check this out. We got something brewing. The minute's going to be reduced. You're going to have a reduced role. We got something on the table for you to return back home. You cool with that? Hey, Bron, I know that's your boy. You got him to come here. But we got something on the table for him to go back to Miami. He deserves that. He's a heater. He's a heater.
A heater?
Yeah, he lifer. I love D. Wade, but he just didn't look right without that 3 heat cross.
I agree.
He never should have left in the first place. That was him trying to live out his Kobe fantasy. A lot of these older players, they saw what the Lakers did for Kobe, and they wanted the same level of respect. Pat Riley threw a bucket of cold water in his face and told him, we don't do business like that here. We're not going to, we're not going to give away the next 2 years of our franchise paying a player $25 million a year who's not worth it. The fact of the matter is that you've won one championship as the lead guy. And when we really scrutinized that championship, the referees had a lot to do with Dwayne Wade's performance in that series. As great as he was able to ascend to a Jordan-esque level because of the referee whistle that he was getting in that series, which had a lot to do with how the Mavericks got that get back in 2011. Of course, in concert with LeBron James' major flameout. But D. Wade, he wanted to be treated and feted like Kobe Bryant. The same phenomenon that Paul Pierce has kind of suffered from the last couple of years. And, it was kind of hard for him to accept the fact that, no, we're not going to treat you like Kobe. And even the Lakers have suffered for a while due to what they did for Kobe Bryant when they should have just cut all ties with him, at least from a business perspective. Pat Riley does not play that. So what D. Wade should have done is just taken the deal that they offered him and accepted the fact that I'm promised an upper level management position after I retire, which would be good for him.
3.
So he gets to go back home.
Okay, I hear you and all that, and this was the feel-good move of the day, pulled off also by Dan Gilbert, who basically just gave Dwayne back to where he belonged, right?
Yes.
He got some conditional second round. I don't know if it'll ever even happen, but it didn't matter because you just want to get him where he where it feels right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get old like D. Wade, you get the elderly, you got to grab him by the hand and walk him down the hallway. He didn't know where his home was at. So I grabbed his wrist. I said, here, nigga, that way. Southeast. Take your ass back to Miami.
I do say my only reservation about this whole day is that I do think LeBron will miss Dwayne in May or maybe if it goes that far into June.
He'll miss him psychologically, yes.
Because I think Dwayne was good for LeBron in LeBron's 15th year just to have an emotional backstop.
Absolutely.
Just to have his guy with
Well, he
him.
don't need no emotional backstop now because we got that clutter up out of there, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he don't need all that. He got me in Savannah. The hell he need D. Wade for? I've never seen a man need an old man like that. I don't know how old Dwayne Wade is. Man, old as hell. I saw the interview with Quincy Jones. I thought we were looking at Dwayne Wade.
We got that hangover, whatever that was.
Yeah.
It's when you don't like coming to work, it's rough. You go.
Yeah, Skip, take it from me. I hate coming here every morning. I got to look at your old ugly ass. You look at the paycheck is so good.
You go there and you look over to your left like.
So there's going to be no more drama in Cleveland?
Ain't no drama.
No more drama.
Ain't
no more
what Mary J
excuses.
says, no more pain.
Yeah, and and you know what? Just in like 1 hour, LeBron went from no to low pressure to extreme pressure because now the world expects LeBron to get back to, I've lost track, how many finals?
About to be 8.
Eight straight
About to
finals.
be 8.
And there might have been a moment yesterday where LeBron sat back and said, oh no, I'm going to...
He ain't say none of that shit, Skip. Why you always sit there making up stuff, trying to put words in my man's mouth? Yeah, he's going back to 8 straight finals, okay? A finals for every line around your neck.
I'm going to lose another final.
No.
Right?
I mean, Skip, look, the Warriors got this. Look, we're not worried about the Warriors right now.
We know you're not. You're going to be happy to just get there. Get there and get that ass whooping one more time.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, here we are. We 10 miles from that bridge, and you worried about the bridge 10 miles in the distance. We worried about right now.
This is the left face on Mount Rushmore we're talking
Yeah!
about, right?
Thank you, Skip. Thank you. You're talking about the guy who's the left face on Mount Rushmore, then of course you have to hold him to a far higher standard.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
we're going to bust the Hawks up tonight.
Okay.
I mean-
Well, I hope you do, since
Like Skip said, it seems like every time you turn around, Cleveland playing the Hawks. I didn't notice that until Skip brought it out. They must have played the Hawks at least 10 times this year.
Since they're the worst team in the East.
Skip, we only got 6 players.
Okay, you got one. You got the best player on the planet, quote unquote.
He just played 48 minutes.
Doesn't matter. He had a walk-off. He's re-energized. He's revitalized.
Yeah, no.
Am I right?
Skip, the man, he just told you. I played 48 minutes. I'm 33 years of age. I wasn't trying to go to another overtime.
Is that the excuse machine?
No. And we only got 6
Wait a
players.
second.
So we need Hood.
Huh.
We need these guys to come on in. But I tell you what, even if we don't have it, we got something on tap for you on Sunday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, hell yeah. Been waiting all year to get back at Kyrie. Every time I see Kyrie, I want to vomit.
Huh.
Get out of church early.
Really? Okay.
Hell yeah. Gonna get out of church early and lay hands on him. Gonna really make that nigga feel the Holy Spirit.
Get out of church early.
Yeah?
Is Pastor Shannon going to be preaching?
No, he's going to be preaching at, like, what is it, 3:30 Eastern
I
time?
feel like
Do you realize
going on.
your jubilation?
What?
It has a little asterisk at the bottom.
What?
You better live up now. You can't. You realize all the excuses just went right out the window thanks to Dan Gilbert, the man LeBron can't stand. Right? It was a beautiful move because Dan Gilbert just flipped the script and said, "Okay, LeBron, you're on."
Sometimes, Skip,
Yeah.
we have to make peace with the devil
Yeah.
in order to get the passage.
Okay.
Take my word for it, Skip. I got to make peace with you every day. In here looking like Beelzebub himself.
Okay.
So Dan Gilbert held up his end of the deal.
Yeah.
LeBron's gonna do what he always done for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
Dominate. 6'8", 255 pounds of texture chocolate. Doing what he been doing for 20 years.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, for the past 14 and a half years, because he's year 15, he'll hold up his end of the bargain. Have you ever known Bron?
I've known him to lose 5 finals. I don't know.
I know.
That's right, and you watch every last minute of it. Damn, Skip, I mean, you tracking the man. Do you work for the FBI? You know everything that Braun do.
I know a guy that just lost a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To a backup.
Yeah, but he has
quarterback.
5 rings.
To a backup.
Yeah.
What backup
And
LeBron?
meanwhile, while he was losing the Super Bowl, he set the all-time passing record in any playoff game ever.
Hey, you know what, Skip? That'd be a nice footnote.
Huh.
That'd be a nice little footnote.
Huh.
Oh, did you see that parade yesterday? We were talking.
You know what's so funny? When Skip defends Tom Brady, he utilizes the same technique that Shannon does when he defends LeBron James. You know how Shannon says that LeBron averaged a triple-double even though he got his ass whooped in the final? Skip says the same thing. Well, Tom passed for over 500 yards, even though he lost.
We gonna talk about the parade. You see old Nick Foles? Fold them, Foles. Get the trophy. What was Tom? Hold up. Where is episode 7? Of Tom
Episode
Brady?
6. Episode 6.
Where's the
Don't
six?
get ahead of you.
I guess you know. I
guess they
gotta recut it. They gotta
What?
recut it.
I think it's time for Braun versus time now,
I
right? Braun versus time. I want to see
We've been
it.
living Braun versus time since LeBron came in the league.
Yeah.
Skip, what y'all
He
want
just got like 10 years younger in 1 hour.
I mean, he was putting the.
Hell yeah. You damn right he did. His name is LeBron Button. He's little brother Benjamin Button. Every year he get younger, Skip. My baby gonna play until the year 3000.
Putting
How did he do
Joy,
that?
you notice he was putting the things out 3, 4, 5 came out like back to back. I'm like, well. I'm like, what?
They always said the final episode was.
They gotta recut.
DVD.
They gotta recut it. And the ending is not
Sure,
quite.
they had 2 versions ready.
Jordan, I know my partner pretty well, and I'm seeing this look in his eyes where he keeps trying to change the subject.
I'm happy.
He knows what just happened. In his jubilation, he realizes, uh-oh, I can't make any excuses. I don't have Isaiah. You better hope that Kevin Love comes back quickly so you have a scapegoat. You need your scapegoat back,
Let me ask you a question.
right?
All the teams in the East, name the team that has the king.
One team has a nuclear weapon that was on display last night named Kyrie Irving. We'll talk about him in a little.
They call Kyrie a nuclear weapon. Kyrie is about to explode. I hope that he does well in these playoffs. They're going to need him to perform to his maximum in order to beat Cleveland. Because Cleveland is still my favorite to get to the finals. They would have been my favorite even had they not traded Isaiah Thomas. I just believe that LeBron was playing to less than maximum capacity to try to force a trade from Dan Gilbert. But we'll see what happens here. Peace.